assists. The NBA playoffs continue on ESPN Radio. Tune in tomorrow night as the Lakers host the Warriors. Coverage begins at 8 p.m. Eastern on most ESPN radio stations and on Sirius XM Channel 80. Meantime, the Milwaukee Bucks have fired coach Mike Budenholzer after the East's top seed suffered a first-round playoff loss to the Miami Heat. Be fair, Jimmy. This is about perfection, Jay. Just hold your tongue. Same with your vehicle. So for parts that fit, head to eBay Motors and look for the green check. Stay in the game with eBay Guaranteed Fit. ebaymotors.com. Let's ride. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Breaking news, the Milwaukee Bucks have dismissed coach Mike Budenholzer after the East top seed suffered a first-round loss to the Miami Heat.
This is an organization now ready to hit the reset button. They are in the middle of a championship window with Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max are presented by Progressive Insurance.
Hey, yeah.
Bucks have moved on from Coach Bud.
Yeah.
Was it the right decision? I mean, he won 60 games with an Atlanta Hawks team, probably had no business winning 60 games, but fizzled in the postseason.
More seasonal produce at followfreshfromflorida.com.
Dude. I just got back from the future.
Excuse me?
I saw a glowing light, and then I was whisked through a doorway to the future.
So what's up? Will we all be wearing spacesuits?
No, the future is about innovation, comfort, and confidence. Underwear and undershirts with four-way stretch that adjust to you.
That sounds like a Tommy John store to me.
Could I walk into a Tommy John store today and get a shirt that stays tucked in, yet won't bunch up?
The patented Tommy John Stay Tucked undershirt?
Well, what about an untucked shirt that is a hidden sweat-wicking layer and also a t-shirt?
The Tommy John Modern Fit undershirt. I'm wearing one. Everything has their best you'll ever wear is free guarantee. It's why Tommy John doesn't have customers. They have fanatics.
Can I get this stuff anywhere they carry Tommy John?
Sure. Or visit TommyJohn.com/stream and get 20% off your first order, including undershirt packs. 20% off at TommyJohn.com/stream. See site for details.
Tommy John.
And now, a couple of corny facts. Number 1, there are about 800 kernels in each ear of corn. Number 2, an ear of corn always has an even number of rows. And number 3, Florida sweet corn season ends in June. June? What? Why didn't anybody tell me that it was gonna...
Oh, well, I guess that's a wrap.
It's sweet corn season in Florida. Stop on your way home and get some before it's gone. See more seasonal produce at followfreshfromflorida.com.
And now coming in at number one, it's Kentucky Fried Chicken's $5 Mac and Cheese Bowl.
Mac and cheese and chicken and cheese. Mac and cheese and chicken and cheese. KFC. Mac and cheese and chicken and cheese. Mac and cheese and chicken and cheese.
For $5.
Oh, yeah, baby. Order KFC's $5 Mac and Cheese Bowls on the app. Back for a limited time in original or spicy. That's finger licking good. Price participation may vary for a limited time only.
Union Pacific Railroad wants you to join its team. It's an opportunity that comes with great pay and benefits. There are a variety of open roles across its 23-state network, including train crew positions, with hiring and relocation incentives in some locations. You can even get a free college education while working. Union Pacific Railroad connects hundreds of communities, hauling goods Americans rely on every day. Get your career on the right track with Union Pacific and apply today at up.jobs/sports. That's up.jobs/sports.
DiVincenzo to the near side corner. Moody. Bounce feed to the lane for DiVincenzo. Was off the mark. He dove to get it. Saved it. Over the head bounce pass up top for Wiggins. Zips it to the right side. Steph Curry for three. Everything's coming up. Warriors here in the third quarter. 105-78.
That's how it sounded on ESPN Radio's. The Warriors evened up the series one game apiece. 127-100 win over the Lakers. Big third quarter for Golden State. Got it done. Klay Thompson, 30 points with 8 threes, 8 for 11 from 3. Steph added 20 points and 12 assists. The NBA playoffs continue on ESPN Radio. Tune in tomorrow night as the Lakers host the Warriors. Coverage begins at 8 p.m. Eastern on most ESPN radio stations and on Sirius XM Channel 80. Meantime, the Milwaukee Bucks have fired Coach Mike Budenholzer after the East's top seed suffered a first-round playoff loss to the Miami Heat. Be fair, Jimmy Butler went unconscious in that series. Sports Center is brought to you by eBay Motors. The championship team is about each player being a perfect fit. You just waiting, huh, Jay? This is about perfection, Jay. Just hold your tongue. Same with your vehicle. So for parts that fit, head to eBay Motors and look for the green check. Stay in the game with eBay Guaranteed Fit. ebaymotors.com. Let's ride. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Breaking news, the Milwaukee Bucks have dismissed coach Mike Budenholzer after the East's top seed suffered a first-round loss to the Miami Heat.
This is an organization now ready to hit the reset button. They are in the middle of a championship window with Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max were presented by Progressive Insurance.
Hey. Yeah.
Bucks have moved on from Coach Bud.
Yeah.
Was it the right decision? I mean, he won 60 games with an Atlanta Hawks team, probably had no business winning 60 games, but fizzled in the postseason.
He won 70% of his games in the regular season.
And he's been known, the tag on him was regular season coach, but doesn't get it done in the playoffs. But then they chipped up. Once they won the championship, you go, oh, maybe that monkey's off his back, right?
Jay, why should I listen to you?
Huh?
Why should I listen to you when it comes to the NBA and things all NBA? Why do I have to listen to you?
You don't have to listen to me, but I watch it every single day and just study it and talk to a lot of people.
Because when you say something, I feel like I need to listen.
Yeah.
You know?
The correlation between what he says and then what happens.
Instead of listening to other people, I find myself listening to you, and I find myself having to agree with you, and I find myself realizing you're right. And I don't like that.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do. Because you mentioned that Budenholzer, based on what just happened and get bounced, could potentially be a candidate for an exit strategy for the Bucks. And it kind of came to fruition. So why should I listen?
Nick Nurse on line 1, Key.
Okay.
Nick Nurse on line 1.
I'm going to write that down.
Look, there are certain things that are just apparent. A lot of basketball people, inside basketball people who know the game extremely well, when the Bucks won the championship, really questioned a lot of the decision makings and strategies of Coach Bud when they won. But Giannis has a 50-point game, comes back off injury. Drew Holiday plays well. Certain things happen, it leads to a championship, but there were questions around Coach Bud. Nobody questioned what he did in the regular season, but you question, how do you maximize Giannis in the postseason, personnel-wise and strategy-wise, to have this team win as many championships as possible in his prime? So when you start hearing things, Key, like Giannis say, we didn't make any adjustments as we could against them after they lose. Now, regardless of whether you question Giannis's ability to say, I'm going to guard Jimmy Butler or not, sometimes for me, you start reading things, well, certain players is kind of like checking out on like what they feel like they need to do, because at the end of the day, it's strategy, right? So you also hear Giannis say, asked if he wanted to guard Jimmy Butler more in the Heat series, he said, yes, out of respect, you got to let the coach make adjustments. Can you tell me what that sounds like? What does that sound like to you?
It sounds like that the coach isn't doing what he's supposed to do, and I may need to find another coach.
Yeah, like
sounds like he lost support of his superstar, and then he got canned.
Well, I don't want to say it that way.
Say that. It's just,
yes, Max, you're right.
I mean, if any, Key, you've had one of the best coaches to ever do it. If I've had one of the best coaches to ever do it, there have been times in games where I felt like the adjustments that my coach made probably wasn't in the best interest of my team. Be damn sure I'm not going to go up to a post presser and say, well, you know, if Coach K had done this, we probably would have. No, if we had played better, if I had done this, you don't. So like there's certain things that you just start seeing and you start hearing and you're like, that don't sound right.
Yeah, at some point,
that don't sound right.
At some point, your superstar player is tired of doing the same thing and same results coming over and over and over. And at some point, they are going to go to him and ask him what he thinks about it. And the writing is on the wall, and you know it as a player, and you step to the podium and you kind of say what you know is already getting ready to happen.
In such due time.
And it's an inflection point for the organization, right? Because you have Chris Middleton, Brooke Lopez, both free agents coming up this season. You have Drew Holiday after they lost to the Miami Heat talking about he may retire in a couple of years. That would,
a couple years.
Like 1 or 2 years. But Drew Holiday's like, what, 31?
No, but when you said might retire, I thought you meant like
well,
right
he said it, but it
Jimmy
was really
Butler,
weird.
destroyer of franchises.
Really like, at the end, it's not even like postseason exit interviews. It's like after the game, he talking about I'm thinking about this.
So
like,
you
what
mentioned
the hell's going on?
You mentioned Nick Nurse as a candidate. How about Becky? How about could that be something that you take a look at?
Becky Hammond could be a candidate as well.
Wait, do you mean Nick Nurse as a candidate? I thought you were referring to the fact that, like, because we showed a graphic earlier, coaches that have been the past 4 NBA champions, 19 Raptors, 20 Lakers, 21 Bucks, fired their head coaches, right? So that fits into that pattern. Nick Nurse, Frank Vogel.
Oh, I was saying,
but the only other one who still has his job is Steve Kerr.
I was saying Nick Nurse as a
candidate, replacement candidate. I got
for
you.
the Bucks.
Yeah, he was saying his primary candidate, Max.
No, I understood. It's not because we.
You know what I'm getting ready to say, right, Max?
Were you listening or did you hear me?
Were you listening or were you hearing?
Well, I was actually listening and watching, and when we played that graphic, I thought that's what you were referring to.
Yeah. Becky Hammond. People obviously talk about Frank Vogel. There's candidates out there. I just think it's gonna be Sam Cassell, potentially played in Milwaukee. He's assistant coach, been looking for the right opportunity. Could be Earl Watson, another candidate that was live in the NBA for a while.
Man, I would give Cassell a look. Give him a look as
Bring
a
him
head
back
coach.
to Milwaukee. I mean, he played there in Milwaukee.
But also, he's been on good
He kind of went that route. He kind of went that route before with Jason Kidd. First time head coach with Giannis earlier in his career, another point guard. Obviously, Jason Kidd has done extremely well with the Lakers and moving on, but you kind of went with that first-year head coach. I feel like you need to go with a seasoned coach that has played.
So you want to microwave a guy?
Well, not microwave. I don't know, but Nick Nurse, the situation in Toronto was interesting because he had Kawhi. He managed a strong personality, somebody that's won a championship, has that pedigree. And Nick Nurse, by the way, scheme-wise, is one of the best in the game, scheme-wise. So now I don't know how he is motivation-wise. Be interesting to hear players talk about that, but scheme-wise, one of the best there is. And that's what seems, to a degree, lacked with the Milwaukee Bucks at critical times in playoff basketball.
Greco in Queens, you're on KJM, ESPN Radio.
Yes, sir. Good morning. Hey, Key, man. Our Lakers, man, our guards got to do a better job coming off these ball screens, and they look like deers caught in headlights, with Steph and Clay running around there, shooting all crazy last night, man.
Yeah, outside of oh God, I can't even think of his name off the top of my head. No, not Vandy. Our guard. Schroeder. Outside of Schroeder, the rest of them dudes don't move around like that though. D-Lo can't get, he's not athletic enough to meet. He don't have that motor. And then, Austin Reeves is a hard try guy. He tries hard, but he ain't, don't laugh, Jay, because you're going to have me laughing.
He said hard try guy.
Yeah, a hard try guy. He tries really hard. But, outside of that, we don't really have, right, Jay? We don't have the defensive guard like that. We just don't.
That was key. That was the thing we talked about before the season. Brother, you hate, especially on the matchup. You hating on the Lakers. I'm like, no, it's just defensive. I mean, look, I think they're going to be okay.
No, I do too. No panic.
Okay.
But
once again, it's just not personnel. It's a combination of having a game every other day, and these dudes make you chase them all over the damn court. It's different than watching Dame or watching Ja at the top of the key, and everybody knows where you're going.
I was watching the game last night real quick. As I was watching the game, you could see at times it was I don't want to say a give up, but it wasn't a maximum effort, so to speak. Even at the time when he traveled, Steph picked up the bag and walked to the
5 steps and then passed the ball.
Everybody, but everybody like, oh, this is the time for us to get a break. Everybody just kind of stopped.
He went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 steps and then dished. I mean, maybe if you go 5 steps and then like Chris Paul sometimes go around the corner, get 4 or 5 steps, and well, he's shooting the left.
No,
what?
Steph
on a pass 5 steps.
Steph traveled at least. He's traveled at least 4 times last night. At least 4.
Yo, Steph and Bron, they always watch every inbound pass when they catch the ball, though. It's all, they always take like 1 or 2.
They had their momentum.
They had a double team on Steph. One time they came and he was trying to, and he backed up. I was like, they don't let him do that.
Take it or shake it. Listener bold predictions edition coming up.
Hey, it's Greeny, and the NBA playoffs have perhaps never been this compelling, and we're the place to talk about it every morning. It's Greeny, starting 10 a.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
More Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max. Next. Mike Greenberg. Greeny.
Steph Curry has elevated his standing historically. I think he has now gone from, of course he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. Sure, he's one of the most beloved players ever. Yes, he changed the game with that long distance shooting, but he's not really one of the best players that ever lived. He's not on a level with LeBron or even KD. I think those days are over.
Greeny. Weekday mornings at 10 Eastern on ESPN Radio. Plus, you can watch and listen on the ESPN app. ESPN's College Game Day, the podcast.
Who has become your draft pro? I think A.T. Perry could be pretty good. I don't think. Oh, there we go. There we go. I don't know if he qualifies as a full draft crush, but the way I was thinking about this, Pete, you're looking at it and you're trying to give a little insight to these guys that have taken a little farther down the board.
Listen to the College Game Day podcast with Reese Davis and Pete Thamel, wherever you listen to podcasts.
Basketball champion Stephen Curry and soccer superstar Alex Morgan want you to join the PGA Junior League team.
PGA Junior League is a fun team golf experience for kids that the entire family can enjoy.
Boys and girls learn the game from PGA and LPGA professionals and have a great time with friends.
Find your team and get ready for a fun and exciting PGA Junior League season.
I want to see you out playing in your jersey and having fun. Visit PGAJuniorLeague.com.
Jason Fitz and Harry Douglas are Fitz and Harry.
And Arthur Smith, Falcons head coach Bijan Robinson, what did you guys love about the player to make him the pick?
We're so excited to get Bijan in our program. I mean, he's made of all the right characteristics we look for. And then obviously he's a phenomenal football player. And he's a lot more than just a running back. He's an explosive guy with the ball in his hands and just another piece with that'll fit in here because we've got a lot of versatile players, skill players on our offense.
Fitz and Harry, weekdays at noon Eastern on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app.
How are you? My name is Scott Van Pelt, host of SV Pod, along with my partner in crime, Stanford Steve. What do we talk about mostly on the podcast, Steve?
Sports.
Some.
Parenting.
I feel like that comes up a lot. I feel like most recently I've needed some help because I feel like my shortcomings there are evident. It's life stuff, relatable content.
It's fun.
It's just two bald-headed goons just talking about nonsense a lot in a crowded podcast space. There's that one.
We're here.
Here we are.
Saturday, May 13th, the stage is set. The XFL Championship. The underdog Arlington Renegades, led by quarterback Luis Perez, aim to pull off the major upset, while the DC Defenders and star running back Abram Smith look to power their way to the title. Renegades Defenders, the XFL Championship game. Saturday, May 13th at 8 p.m. Eastern on ABC and ESPN+. Bring it in.
Take it or shake it.
Take it.
Take it.
Or shake it.
Take it. Take it or shake it.
Take it or shake it, brought to you by Granger here on KJM. It's his listener bold predictions. Nuno, now how's this going to work, Nuno?
So we put out a question for our listeners to give us their bold predictions. And so we're just going to use what they gave us, and it'll be just very simple. So start with the first one. Forrest said Detroit is a Super Bowl contender. Take it or shake it, Keith?
Take it.
Take that.
It's bold, right? It's a bold prediction, and I take it because it's very bold. You look at the division. There is no Aaron Rodgers in the division. They absolutely have gotten better over the last 2 years under Dan Campbell. I don't necessarily love their draft, but they love their draft. So that's all I can go off of. I think Aaron Glenn's getting better calling defensive plays. Their defense struggled at times. Last year, down the stretch, they got better. It's a bold prediction.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bold prediction that I still shake. I mean, look, I think Detroit is well on their way, Key, and obviously the Swift news was interesting to see how that panned out with the draft and them getting Gibbs. I think their offense has a chance to be a high-octane offense with Jared Goff, but at the end of the day, I still think their defense needs work, even though I do love the DNA of this team. I'm not sure they're Super Bowl contenders yet.
As a bold prediction, I agree with Key. Take it. Like, in other words, do I think they're actually going to be Super Bowl contenders? No. But if you say, give me a bold prediction, if this works out, yeah, it could work out that they are. They're the kind of wild card in the NFC to me. High upside with the offense, tough mentality, and upside. And by the way, they drafted guys in this draft that they reached for, but those guys can contribute right now. I'm gonna take it.
All right, VJ said the Bears will go from last to first this year in their division. Take it or shake it?
Shake it.
Shake it.
Yeah, that's a very bold prediction, but I can't roll with it. I think when you look at the situation in Justin Fields, he's only going to get better. My good friend Ryan Poles is doing an amazing job in the draft in the offseason and making sure things are being done correctly for Chicago to build in the future. I just think that this is a three-headed division with Minnesota, Green Bay, and potentially Detroit.
Yeah, I'll shake it with you, Kay. I don't see them going from 3 wins to all of a sudden beating the Vikings or beating Detroit to win the division. I don't.
Agreed. Too many holes to fill. I'll just mention again, Justin Fields. For people who are like, oh, he has so far to go, had a 54 QBR. Whatever you want to say about QBR, it's a pretty good thumbnail sketch of, hey, quick, what do you think? That's above average already. Just because the guy can run. Now he has some receivers, like some decent receivers. It's going to get a little better.
3 wins and how many wins, Max?
6, 7.
3 wins?
They went 3 wins last year to how many wins this year?
Yeah, they'll double it.
You think they'll double it, Key?
I wasn't listening. I was hearing. Yeah, they'll double it.
Yeah, 7. Okay.
All right, next one comes from Travis. Jordan Love leads the Packers to the playoffs. Take it or shake it?
Take it. Yeah, I think that's a bold prediction. I think it can happen also and alleviate the bold prediction side of it. Look, Jordan Love hasn't played, but a little bit that I saw from an eyeball test standpoint, I like his rhythm. I like the way ball placement, all of those things. And there's enough players coming back from a year ago, minus Aaron Rodgers. When you have Aaron Jones and you have Watson and you have Romeo Doubs and some of the guys, Kenny Clark and company, and Javier Alexander on the defensive side, that team is intact. And I think they can win the division, and him leading them to the playoffs wouldn't be a shock at all.
Yeah, I think it would be a shock for me. I'll shake it in year one full time. And look, I think this team is well on their way with that defense that got better from last year. I think the offensive pieces, the continuity that he'll have within this offseason, I think they'll be better. I just think it'll be hard with Detroit and the Vikings in that division because of how they play. I think they're a little bit further ahead than where the Packers are.
Shake it like a Polaroid picture. Listen, Aaron Rodgers couldn't get him to the playoffs. Jordan Love ain't doing it. But they might be all right. But
they're on their way.
Yeah, they'll compete, but I don't see them going to the playoffs.
All right, next one comes from Kat. The Bengals would miss the playoff. Take it or shake it?
Take it.
Take it.
Yeah, I think when you look at the division and the conference as a whole, if they miss the playoffs, hey, I wouldn't be shocked at all. Well, even though they are a very good football team, there's no question about it. But the Cleveland Browns have probably gotten better based on Deshaun Watson being there full time now. Lamar Jackson and company, he's back in the fold. And then I don't know what Pittsburgh is, but they're always hanging around. And you talk about the conference. It's just, we know what the conference is. So, yeah, they can miss it.
Yeah, I'm with you, Key. I'll take it. They can miss it. But this is what happens for Joe Burrow when you set the standard in year 2, going to the Super Bowl and always having success in the playoffs and going against, Kansas City all the time. Like, the standard is so high that it's bold. That's not good.
I'm shaking that one all day long. I tried to tell you last year, Key, when you were like, no, the Bengals won't make it back to the playoffs. Everyone else is going to have excuses, right? Well, Justin Herbert, the coach, or this one, that, something made the playoffs. Lamar, his team got hurt, whatever it is. Let me tell you who's just going to be in the playoffs every year, as long as he's healthy. Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow gonna be in the playoffs every year. And by the way, he's gonna be making runs in the playoffs every year. He ain't missing the playoffs. Joe Burrow's not built to miss the playoffs. Not built that way.
What's today's date?
May
Cinco de
5th.
Mayo.
Oh, that's right. May 5th. Okay.
All right.
You marking that down? You
Mark it down.
Mark it down.
Please, mark it down. He ain't missing the playoffs.
All right. Next one comes from Carlos. The Jets. The Jets will not make the playoffs. Take it or shake it.
Oof. Old prediction.
Take it.
Take it.
I can apply that the same to the Cincinnati Bengals. Great players, a lot of stuff around them, but look at the division, look at the conference. They could very well miss the playoffs, even though we don't really think they will, but they could miss the playoffs, and that is why it is a bold prediction, and I am taking it.
I'll take it. I think the offense is going to be better. They had a soft schedule last year. I'm curious to see if their defense continues to be what it was last year against a harder schedule this year.
Yeah, much like, hey, the Lions will compete for the Super Bowl, much like Key said, as a bold prediction, I'll take it.
I'll take that.
Because the Jets could win a Super Bowl, or they could easily miss the playoffs. You got 4 division winners, 3 wild cards. Go take a look at the West and the North. And you understand?
Loaded conference as far as good teams.
Deshaun Watson is not going to stink this year, let alone Lamar Jackson's got receivers. And Tomlin's going to be competing easily. 3 teams could come out of the North alone, let alone the West. It's going to be a brutal conference. Yeah. Take it or shake it. With supplies and solutions for every industry, Grainger has the right product for you. Call, click Grainger.com or just stop by. Which fan base should be most concerned about their team after those predictable Game 2 whoopings they just took? Lakers or Sixers, KJM?
Small business owners, we know finishing your to-do list can feel like climbing a mountain, but that mountain is also covered in banana peels. Then when something new gets added to your list, you're like, nope, I'm already climbing this huge, super slippery banana peel mountain of a to-do list. At Progressive, we don't want to make your day any harder. That's why we make it easy to manage your policy on our mobile app. So climbing that banana peel mountain feels more like a leisurely stroll. See if you can save on commercial auto insurance in as little as 6 minutes at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Coverage subject to policy terms and conditions.
Anywhere fans go to cheer on their team, there are behind-the-scenes MVPs ensuring everything is game day ready. We see you, Joe, fixing seats so every fan can enjoy every game. And Allie, who keeps her stadium running smoothly from the moment the first game starts to the last play of the season. At Grainger, you're our MVPs, and we're always here for you with supplies and solutions for every industry and 24/7 customer support. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Whether you own a local business or a global one, you know that these days, generating growth is a challenge. By teaming with Bank of America, you'll not just stay ahead of the curve, you'll move it. With access to experts, award-winning insights, and business solutions so powerful, you'll make every move matter, locally and globally. Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. What would you like the power to do? Copyright 2023 Bank of America, N.A.
Shoppers, this is your local sweet corn farmer letting you know that Florida sweet corn is in season. Grown right here by farmers just like me. These golden cobs of sunshine are already in the produce section, waiting to go home to your family's dinner table. For all your local grown in-season foods and ingredients, ask for Fresh from Florida or look for the sunny Fresh from Florida logo. Learn more at followfreshfromflorida.com. And happy eating.
Shopify presents cool sheets from aha to
Lying awake while you bake isn't cool. I suffered from the wrong kind of hot in bed, heat-induced insomnia. That was my aha moment. Bed sheets that keep you cool. Then I thought, how do I even sell bed sheets? That's when I had the idea that made it all possible, signing up on Shopify. With the help of Shopify's intuitive online store creator, I started selling sustainable bamboo sheets that keep cool year-round. And my cool idea became a reality. Hot sleepers around the world rejoice. Shopify makes it simple to keep your cool while starting and growing your business. Start selling with Shopify today and join the commerce platform powering millions of businesses worldwide. From aha to anything is possible.
This is Possibility, powered by Shopify. Start selling online today. Sign up for a free trial at shopify.com/play. Shopify.com/play.
Will they find a home? Sponsored by Geico. Sarah wants a yard. My own little paradise. Brad, however, hates yard work.
The only thing I hate more than cutting the grass is paying someone to cut the grass.
Compromise is tough, but these two won't have to compromise when they bundle home and car insurance with Geico. It's easy, and they could save even more. In the end, Sarah and Brad found a great home with a yard. A very, very small yard.
Time to get it done. And I'm done.
Bundling without compromise at geico.com.
Fountain Blue Miami Race Weekend is upon us, May 6th and 7th. Don't miss performances by Martin Garrix and Cascade and newly added Ludacris. Visit BlueLive.com for ticket packages. BlueLive.com.
Ah, what a day to be a Florida tomato. Sunny, warm, and expected afternoon showers. I am feeling so fine. You say tomato, I say, what the?
Florida tomatoes. They're ripe for the picking. So look for fresh from Florida tomatoes where you shop and support our state. See more seasonal produce at followfreshfromflorida.com.
Have you seen the cost of eggs lately? With these prices, we'd barely be scraping by if it weren't for Dave. It's the banking app that advances us up to $500 instantly. There's no interest, late fees, or credit checks. No joke. You can get extra cash for anything your family needs. Download the Dave app now or go to dave.com. For terms and conditions, go to dave.com/legal. Instant transfer fees apply. Banking services provided by Evolve. Member FDIC.
Learn more.
Game 2 of the Golden State Warriors and the Los Angeles Lakers. James who has to hoist it up. Backs ahead. Nice back and forth here in the second quarter of Game 2. Thompson fires up a three. Got it.
Hello, Klay Thompson. Lighten it up tonight.
Davis went from being the best player on the floor in Game 1 to disappearing in Game 2. They want to be a little bit more physical with Anthony Davis. This has been a masterful response by the Warriors.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max, ESPN Radio. We're presented by Progressive Insurance.
Hey.
So which fan base should be more concerned about their team?
Philly
or LA? This is, by the way, I had a stat yesterday. I'm trying to remember who had it, but it was 16-1 in the playoffs in X number, I guess in the last 17 games, that the home team has lost Game 1. They're like 16-1 in Game 2, but 15-2 against the spread, right? Like, so this was, you could see this one coming. Why would that be, Jay? Like even against the spread, 15-2.
Just because of the energy swing. I mean, it's hard. Like close games at home. Typically, Keith, so many guys I know that play games in the playoffs, you have so many conversations, you would hear them talk about the sense of urgency to get one, right? Like to get one. So if they typically get one on the road.
They get a little fat off that.
Well, not fat. You're just like, especially like for the Lakers in particular, it's like LeBron James, 38 years old. So you start saying, all right, how long is it sustainable to play 44 minutes? Are you going to play him 44 minutes in Game 2 a day and a half later to get the second win? Like, no, he played 28 minutes last night. He didn't play the entire fourth.
On fire.
No, nobody played the fourth.
I know, but like that's the point is like, even if they hit that push button a little bit and they start like, all right, like, we don't need to fight for it. This is the long haul.
Once LeBron gives you 17 in the first half.
But it was a wrap, though, Jay. Yeah, it wasn't nothing. If it was a 10-point game in the fourth quarter at the start of the fourth, LeBron James' butt is on that damn court.
So it's probably good that it got blown out.
It's almost better,
huh?
Key. It's almost like, would you rather, like if it was a close game, would you rather play LeBron 44 minutes again and then go like a game?
If I got a real legit shot of winning it, he's going to play the 44 minutes, no question about it. But if I got the luxury of resting him and other starters, then that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah, I see. Look, I think even LeBron at 38, Key could probably do that. The person you worry about is AD. Like there are times, like even watching AD last night in the first quarter, I'm like, we're just jogging down the floor.
Well, that's because again, as I said, Jay, it was almost like it was too rough for him, right? It was like, I don't want to get beat up because something may happen to me, so I'm not really going to fight for position. I'm just going to let him push me off my spot.
Hey, sorry, I just don't understand that.
So
I'm very confused by that.
Yesterday on this, yesterday, Jay,
there been games where I've seen him punish people, and it has been physical, extremely physical. And then other games, like the switch is just off. I'm like, yo, we just walking into the room and the switch is off.
Yeah, but the
switch
thing
gotta be
is,
on.
but the thing is when they, as you know, when somebody's pushing you, and they're, it's like the bully thing. When somebody's bullying you, and you succumb to them bullying you, they're gonna keep bullying you. From my eyes, what Draymond was doing was bullying him.
But Jay, I want to get back to yesterday. You predicted the game plan. This was Jay's game plan. This is what they should do to AD. You draw him out of the paint, the whole thing.
Yep.
And that's what happened, right? And so is he, in the way like where they say you got to feed the big if he plays defense, right, to keep him playing defense, is there something, can the reverse be true where AD is sort of, his effectiveness is diminished defensively by what the Warriors are doing on offense, and then that affects him on the other side of the floor?
I just think you need him in the game. So the amount, you saw it last night, like the pace of the game is fast. It's a different pace.
Yeah.
So like the amount of possessions, everybody says, well, in the playoffs, things slow down. Well, that actually depends upon matchups, right? Like in these playoffs, you're seeing Golden State trying to impose their will, and you're seeing the Lakers play fast too. I mean, there were times in the first quarter, second quarter, where off a made shot, D'Lo's pushing the ball down the court very fast, and you always see AD trailing. So the amount of possessions, there's a cumulative effect here. It's going to favor the team better conditioned in a game every other day.
Clay went for 30 on 8 of 11 from 3, right?
Yep.
Is that, and I said yesterday on this, Justin, which you don't have the decency to watch, by the way. Even though I say on the air, yesterday on the air, I said, Jay Will, as usual, said something on KJM this morning that changed my thinking about the subject. You get monster props. You don't, not only do you not appear on the show, you don't even have the decency just to simply touch a button
Key, what
and
time
watch
is the
your
show
boy.
again? What time
Exactly.
is the show?
2 to 3. Did you mention me yesterday?
I don't think so. Not yesterday.
Okay.
Because you warned me that there was a copyright infringement or something going on.
Yeah, and that's why I asked you, because if you mentioned me,
from now on, only Jay will get mentioned. Yeah.
Well, wait, should I mention copyright infringement? Do I get paid like for every? No.
I will not
can't
mention
just be
either
using
one
my
anymore ever again.
One thing you can't do, Max, is you cannot be using my name, likeness, and image.
Matter of fact, I'm gonna. That's exactly what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna have
you
play
cannot.
clips from different channels. This is ESPN.
No, did you say
we have the
name,
rights to
likeness,
all
and
the
image?
all throughout the universe, right? In the contracts, all the
Name,
likeness
image, and
throughout
likeness.
the
Yeah,
universe for all of time.
Thing. Who says it has to be NIL? How come it can't be NLI?
Exactly.
Name, likeness, and image.
Yeah, exactly.
But Jay, so my prediction yesterday was in the Max Facts was this is going to be the Clay game. But I don't know that was the Clay game. Like Clay Thompson,
It was a Steph game.
It was a Steph game, but Clay Thompson is capable. I think he and every player who ever lived gets hotter than anyone who ever lived when he gets hot. He wasn't even really hot last night. It was just kind of Clay hitting shots.
Look, Key, like this is nerdy basketball, but like, certain players, when they catch the ball, they dip the ball before they shoot, right? It's like a momentum thing. So say I pass the ball to Max and it hits him right in the stomach. And like the ball naturally will drop between his legs because he gets momentum to go up. If you watch Clay in all of his shots,
he's already.
Dude, the ball, he just keeps the ball high.
Yeah, he's already.
Like it's a catch and shoot. It's the quickest release. Him and Steph have the quickest releases in the game. Actually, his is quicker than Steph's. And it's that ability that makes him so unique, man. It's like by the time he catches it, you don't have a chance. Like your hand automatically has to be in his face right there. That was a catch and shoot from the corner that you see on ESPN2. So it's just special, man. It's special when he gets going too. But Steph is the gravity that creates all this. Because when you guard him on high ball screens and AD is forced to play up and he's blitzing, it creates mismatches. And that's where Draymond Green is then able to catch the ball. And now it's 4 against 3. And he's such a good free safety where he's able to make reads. And guys like Jermichael Green, guys like Klay Thompson, they take advantage of it. And by the way, guess what else they did? Like we said we're going to do. They played small. They started Jermichael Green instead of Kevon Looney.
And that was because Kevon Looney was under the weather. But do you think they stick with that after the success?
Oh, I stay small.
Yeah.
I stay small.
Jay, how many shots do you think Clay get up a day?
Probably 300-400 made shots. Made shots.
That means he has to shoot like 405 to make 400.
500 a day. But that's key. That's reps, man. That's just
I know. That's why I asked you that, because it just, it just it's flawless. It just
So my daughter's used to be in a basketball skills development program. He's called Steady Buckets, right? You know about Steady Buckets. Coach Mackey and them, they would teach based on Clay, right? They'd be like, look, this is, like players will evolve the way the game is coached based on their success, and Clay's form is considered perfect.
So shout out to my boy. You check him out on IG. His hashtag, his name is Lethal Shooter, right? Honestly, and he works with every single pro. If you want to be a great shooter, work with him. And he posts videos where, and it's funny because from somebody who's got up so many shots, there are times where he'll post videos and him and I go back and forth. We laugh because the ball will go in 10 times in a row. Everybody's like, "Oh, you're shooting well." I'm like, "Yo, man, you hit the left side of the rim 3 out of 10 times." This guy, no. And it's like the level of adjustment where the ball pops in that, pop, pop, pop. All of a sudden, like when you're an elite shooter, that's a made shot. That sound is the repetition that you want to hear for a made shot. And Clay and Steph are like that, right? You can tell that when the ball goes in, it's like, "Oh, that was a great shot." But these guys look disappointed because the ball may have scraped the left side.
Yeah, Clay did not look like
shot.
Clay did not look like the best version of himself last night. He's just hitting shots.
I asked you that because they're so prolific at what they do. It's ridiculous. And as like a football player, you say, "Well, what do you do?" So my glovies is ridiculous. So in order to get them to be ridiculous, I had to catch about 300 balls a day. Like just whether it was through catching, jug machines, whatever the case is. So just, it's just like shooting.
Key, what's the sound like a catch where you know that joint is clean? Like,
there is no sound.
There's no sound.
Ain't no sound. No, the dudes that can't catch sound like they batting a volleyball down. You hear the boom. It's like,
So what's it feel like? What's a clean catch where it's just like, that's like the perfection of a catch.
It's soft. It's graceful. It's smooth. Yeah. There's no blinking of the eye. To a point where I was able to walk up at a high speed of rate and slightly lean to the side and take it right off the jug machine as you fire the jug. I'm just taking it right off. It's just like shooting. That's why I asked you that question. The reps that you do, the more reps you get at it, the better you'll be. And this is why you see guys like this just being able to drop buckets.
You want to ask me about talking?
Yeah, what's the sweet spot in talking, Max? In hustling.
Oh, my God.
Language, what's the sweet spot?
You said what I was thinking.
All right, listen.
Like, well, 17,000 hours a day.
That's right.
You do. You may.
If you never listen and you only talk,
you may talk more than anybody else here at this network.
Could
on and off the mic.
No, seriously, we have our 4-hour show. You have Max on boxing on Fridays, and then you have this just in every day for an hour.
Yeah, he hosts everything. Yeah.
You host
he doesn't talk more than Stephen
A. He does. Because Stephen A's show is only 2 hours.
This is a long show.
This is a longer show plus the hour of his show. That's 5 hours a day.
But Stephen A got his show, got countdowns, got the podcast.
But wait a minute, I do the fights too.
No, but wait, I'm just saying.
But the podcast isn't on the network though. The podcast that's Cadence. That's different.
No, I thought it was ESPN. No. Oh, okay.
Who is Game 3 more important to?
I know.
Is it Celtics or Sixers?
Write that down.
Keyshawn J. Williams.
Write that down.
Three-pointers good. 20 triples for the Celtics in Game 2 as they blow out Philadelphia. The Boston Celtics knock off the Philadelphia 76ers, and they have tied this series at 1.
More Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max next.
If you've been in a car accident, you need an attorney that isn't afraid to bring on the fight. Amanda Demanda. She doesn't just do car accidents, she owns car accidents.
After your car accident, call me, 844-DEMANDA.
Netflix, Amazon Prime, HBO, Showtime. Do you feel like your streaming subscriptions are out of control? Why not start the new year off right and cancel the ones you're not using? Enter the Rocket Money app. Rocket Money organizes your subscriptions by due date and notifies you when something is coming up. From there, decide whether to keep it or cancel it with just a tap. To find out more about Rocket Money, go to rocketmoney.com/gameday or download the Rocket Money app from the Apple app or Google Play stores. Rocket Money, the finance app that works for you.
Shoppers, this is your local sweet corn farmer letting you know that Florida sweet corn is in season. Grown right here by farmers just like me. These golden cobs of sunshine are already in the produce section, waiting to go home to your family's dinner table. For all your local grown in-season foods and ingredients, ask for Fresh from Florida or look for the sunny Fresh from Florida logo. Learn more at followfreshfromflorida.com. And happy eating.
During the playoffs, we're celebrating how basketball is evolving on and off the court. Let's raise a glass of Hennessy to all of those taking the game to new heights, from Miami to all around the league. Hennessy, the spirit of the NBA. Never stop, never settle. Try a Hennessy Ankle Breaker, one of the official Hennessy NBA cocktails. Visit www.hennessy.com for recipes. Hennessy, the spirit of the NBA. Always enjoy Hennessy responsibly.
And now, a couple of corny facts. Number 1, there are about 800 kernels in each ear of corn. Number 2, an ear of corn always has an even number of rows. And number 3, Florida sweet corn season ends in June. June? What? Why didn't anybody tell me that it was gonna...
Oh, well, I guess that's a wrap.
It's sweet corn season in Florida. Stop on your way home and get some before it's gone. See more seasonal produce at followfreshfromflorida.com.
Ah, spring. When you go from freezing your balls off to sweating them off. When do you just get to be comfortable? When you treat your pair to a new pair of Tommy John underwear. When you wear Tommy John, you're that much more comfortable, so you can do everything better. Tommy John underwear has dozens of comfort innovations, like breathable, lightweight, moisture-wicking fabric with 4 times the stretch of competing brands. With over 20 million pairs sold and thousands of 5-star reviews, balls across America love their Tommy Johns. Because there's no flopping, sticking, or chafing. That's why Tommy John doesn't have customers. They have fanatics. One Tommy John fanatic raves, the most comfortable boxer briefs ever. There's no downside. Buy one pair, and you'll never want to wear any other underwear again. Plus, your butt's always covered by Tommy John's best pair you'll ever wear, or it's free guarantee. Get 20% off your first order at TommyJohn.com/stream. Save 20% right now at TommyJohn.com/stream. TommyJohn.com/stream. See site for details.
Going right for Hart to 3. Yo!
Couldn't be bigger. Could not be bigger for Josh Hart.
And that means 99 from the city that never sleeps, and they'll go home happy tonight as the Knicks have evened the series 1 game apiece.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max. Boy, the Knicks have made so many bad trades throughout their history. We're presented by Progressive Insurance. I remember when they traded for the remains.
Wait, come out. Why are you starting off with hate against the Knicks?
I will tell you why in a second.
They're in the Eastern
I will
Conference
tell you why in a second. Because they traded at one point the remains of Antonio McDyess. They gave up Marcus Camby and the pick that turned into Nene Hilario at the time, right? Boy, that was a bad job. But when they got Marcus Camby, they traded a still useful Charles Oakley and got Marcus Camby. And as a result of that trade, the Knicks made it to another finals. And who do we have now? This is why, Jay.
Face of UMass basketball, man.
Marcus Camby, former NBA 2007 Defensive Player of the Year, is with us now. Good morning.
What up, Cam?
Good morning, fellas. Good morning, fellas.
What do you think about your Knicks, Marcus? The season they're having.
I'm excited, Max. It's been, a long time coming. I think Coach Tibbs has did a great job of rallying the guys, especially the second half of the season.
And right now, we seem to be playing the best basketball of the season right now. So, hopefully we can continue. It's going to be a tough series against Miami. It's 1-1 right now, but I'm feeling confident going down in Miami.
So Cam, tell me if you agree with this statement. I think the Knicks are a better team. I just think Miami has the best player on the court. And I love Jalen Brunson, but it just feels different watching the culture and the way they competed against the Knicks in Game 2 without Jimmy Butler. I wonder how that changes when Jimmy Butler's on the court in Game 3 and Game 4 down in Miami.
Yes, Jimmy has been tremendous. It's almost like 2020 bubble Jimmy right now.
Mm-hmm.
He's going out there and just imposing his will in the whole game and imposing his will on the team, and his teammates seem to follow suit. He's being aggressive. He's talking to his teammates, and he's being a true leader out there for the Miami Heat. So it's going to be a tough series, a tough couple games down there in Miami. But, I've been playing with New York for a lot of years, and every time we go to Miami, it's like a 50-50 split in the crowd. There's a lot of New York fans down there, so I'm looking forward to orange and blue skies coming next game.
Marcus, the success that they've had thus far in 2 years ago, obviously in the playoffs, and then this year they're having some success. Could this ultimately land the Knicks that starving superstar that they've wanted for so long?
I mean, I hope so. I think JJ, I call him JJ because I played with his father when I was there with the Knicks. So just to see him grow up from the time he was like 4 or 5 to him being one of the best players out there on the basketball court says a lot about himself, says a lot about that family. And when he has the ball and he's in the game, it's just a sense of poise and a sense of confidence that we have out there as a basketball team. And he should get a whole lot more credit than he's been getting.
We've been talking to, this is Marcus Camby we got on the air right now, former NBA 2007 Defensive Player of the Year. And by the way, one of the key reasons the Knicks made a second finals, not just that loss to Houston, but the 8th seed to make a finals, first time it had happened. What do you think? We've been talking a lot about it this morning. The Lakers beat the Warriors and then predictably get blown out in Game 2. That seems to be the pattern, right? When the home team loses in the playoffs, they come back with a vengeance in Game 2. Where are you now with this series in your own mind, Marcus? Like, who has the advantage at this moment?
I think in the Lakers series you're talking about, Matt?
Yeah, Lakers-Warriors.
Man, I wish AD would have had a better game. It seemed like he has a great game. Then the next game he tails off a little bit. But anytime in playoff basketball you can go in and get a split on the other team's home court, you put yourself in the driver's seat. So, and the Warriors all season long haven't been that great on the road. So, hopefully AD can come back to playing how he's been playing. LeBron is LeBron, and they have that home court out there in LA. So it'll be a much tougher Game 3 for the Golden State Warriors.
Marcus, I was talking to Key about this earlier this morning, and I was curious if you've ever met a superstar or played against a superstar that had extreme ends to their game, right? And the volatility was so different that it just bothered you, right? Like one game you would see, like on one end, I think he has a chance to be one of the greatest players game of basketball has ever seen. And then the other end, I'm like, are you like a JaVale McGee? Like, it's like that extreme gap between the two. Like, Camby, look, the last couple of games.
JaVale catching shrapnel.
No, like not in a bad way. Not in a bad way, Camby, but you know what I mean, right? Like, just the level of talent and the production you get on the court. So, like, one game he has last night 11 points, game before 30 points. The game before that 16 points, the game before that 12 points. Like it goes up and down. It's just so volatile. Like, what do you think that is about?
I think last night, I think a lot of credit has to go to Draymond Green. I think he was touching AD a lot, being physical with him every time he shot, touching him, hitting him, just making the game that much tough for him as compared to Game 1 when everything just seemed easy for AD, hitting jumpers, tip dunks, points in the paint, stuff like that. But Draymond came with it. Even with Looting out of the lineup per se a little bit with him being sick, but I think Draymond did a great job on AD.
Look, Marcus,
you hear that Key? He said he touched him a lot last night.
No,
he touched in basketball.
But I've been saying that. That's what I said earlier, Jay. And you said, well, he's had other big, so to speak, play physical with him. I was going to ask Marcus, is this a different type of physicality because it's Draymond? Because Jay said, well, he's on the blocks and he's getting pushed around a lot with other teams, but this seemed different to me. It's almost like, I don't know how to say it without making it sound like he was scared of Draymond or something like that. Like what?
No, I don't think he was per se scared of Draymond. I think Draymond just brings the type of physicality, and he has that dog in him, and he has that reputation of being physical. So the refs tend to let him get away with a little bit of pushing, a little extra shove here and there, and I think that's what it is. But I expect AD to come out. He's a professional. He's an all-time great, and when he's playing well, the Lakers seem to take off as a team.
Marcus Camby with us right now on KJM. Marcus, so you had a long and very productive career. Like the Knicks thought, I guess you were getting up there or something, but you went and killed it for a long time. But you're 6'11". What was your playing weight?
Probably like 225 back then.
225. So like, thin like AD, right around the same size actually. So though you had a long career and a very productive one, you had a hard time staying healthy throughout an entire season. And some guys are built that way. There's, when you're that tall and everything, can you speak to, like, is part of it AD psychologically kind of saving himself or thinking like, I gotta, being kind of shell shocked from being hurt so often? Can you speak to that at all in your own experience?
Well, I know it's kind of tough for AD right now. I mean, every time he goes down to the floor, he's like, oh my gosh, is he going to get up? And I just know from a mental aspect, I know that can probably weigh on the individual and weigh on the player very well. But he's skilled. I'm sure he puts in the work in the offseason to make sure that his body is right. But sometimes there's a freak accidents that happen out there and, something you can't avoid. But, for him, I know it's tough. I know he wants to be out there. I know he doesn't want to have that label of being street clothes or some of the things that people are saying out there about himself. But like I said, he was coached by Coach Cal, a coach that I know very well. And I think he's going to be very resilient. And I think he's going to finish off the series strong.
Marcus Camby, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for joining us this morning.
Wait, Camby, Cal get a championship this year for Kentucky? He got some boys coming in, man.
I know. I thought we was going to get the guy to transfer from Michigan. I saw Cal the other day at game 2, and it was always good running in Coach Cal. The other night he had 4 guys out there on the court with Bam and Quick and Randall and D Rose. So it's always good seeing Cal. But hopefully this is going to be the year we can turn it around. I like the kid DJ Wagner they got coming in. So hopefully we can make some noise this year.
Thanks, Marcus.
All right, man.
Thank you, guys.
So Jay, you said something to me. It's like, can we see that chart on AD again? Look at this like up and down. Key, it's an EKG. That should be his nickname. AD in the playoffs.
It's an EKG, dog. Like, no.
It's up and down.
It
looks like a heartbeat. Look at this. That's a healthy individual right there.
His heart. Leave that man alone.
I'm saying it's a healthy heart. If that's your EKG, you're like, I'm in peak shape. That's exactly what a heartbeat's supposed to look like.
That's what we're calling it from now on.
EKG in the playoffs. All right. Who should be favored to win the title right now? Where we stand right now. KJM. EKG.
Hey, it's Greeny, and the NBA playoffs have perhaps never been this compelling, and we're the place to talk about it every morning. It's Greeny, starting 10 a.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
More Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max. Next.
Anyone who has ever needed self-storage knows what a hassle it can be. You have to rent or borrow a truck and then find someone to help you move your stuff. And let's face it, moving furniture and heavy items without damaging them isn't easy. Renting the unit is worse. The hidden fees and admin costs are scarier than the dingy facilities you're leaving your stuff in. Why not use Closet Box instead? Closet Box is self-storage without leaving home. They'll pick up your belongings, store them securely, and bring any item back when you need it. The best part? Unlike traditional self-storage, you only pay for what you store. No paying for unused storage space. Closet Box's background check storage movers are licensed, bonded, and insured and will take care of all of the heavy lifting. Closet Box's local storage centers are temperature controlled and monitored 24/7. Closet Box has an A+ rating from the BBB. Call 877-233-5696 now for the season's best rates. Get $50 off first month storage using code RADIO50. That's 877-233-5696. 877-233-5696.
No, but you could have used the
Milwaukee
cardboard
Bucks have
cutout. I mean,
fired Coach Mike Budenholzer
Well, first
after
off, hold
the
on a
East
second. Hold on a second.
top seed suffered a first-round
This
playoff
is what you guys
loss.
are doing. You guys are framing the conversation saying that JaVale McGee is bad. I'm saying any player who
to the building. So you're on the phone, but you're in the building.
I'm about to go to the door to get on the elevator now. I was told to call in.
Let's see if CJ McCollum's also disappointed. Pelicans guard and NBPA president, Mr. President.
You could have called him Chuck.
Good morning. Good morning, Mr. President.
Good morning.
wait.
Good morning. How you guys doing?
CJ, we have an issue with you on this show. Did you hear about this issue that we have with you?
I don't.
CJ, can you hear me?
Yeah, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we have an issue with you on the show. Have you heard about our issue?
No, I haven't heard about your issue.
You know, you and I yesterday, we were on Get Up, and then we had you slated for our next segment, and you just skipped our show. Can we ask you why you skipped our show? Like, what happened?
Yeah, it's messed up, CJ.
We had your seat ready for you, had a name tag.
CJ's on this is on this just in though. He's good.
I'm walking into the building now, but no one told me that I was supposed to go on your show yesterday.
I told you. I said you're on with us next.
Wait, hold on.
I grabbed and said, listen, save your voice for this just in later. You go back to the hotel and
wait, hold on. Hold on.
Get him, kid.
You're walking into the building. So you're on the phone, but you're in the building.
I'm about to go to the door to get on the elevator now. I was told to call in, right?
See, Key, this is something I'm talking about.
I'm a walk into the building. Okay. All right. I see how this
told me to call it.
CJ, you don't have to make excuses for these guys. The main thing is you're on this just in 2 p.m. Eastern, ESPN, not radio, TV. All right. Well, hey, what do you think about the Lakers-Warriors game 2, CJ?
Jay?
It turned out exactly how I expected it to turn out, to be honest with you. I thought the Lakers got what they came for. They got game 1. They understood the task at hand, win one game, get the split, go back home. And looking at the game 2 of the Celtics-Sixers series, that sense of urgency that they had, I think the Warriors played the same way, aggressive, understanding that their season was basically on the line.
CJ, I was talking to Max and Key about the volatility of Anthony Davis and how